Boy, 2023 sure was wild. So yes, as you saw by the title of this video, it is time to go over the top 10 figures that I bought in 2023. Now, I actually will say a lot of the money that you would have used buying figures actually went to buying Legos. It's kind of become into the rotation of Transformers, Funko Pops, and now Legos. And I now have an extensive Lego collection, so. And so does Kat, because this is hers and we don't really have anywhere for her to put hers yet. But you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here for me to tell you 10 figures that I bought last year that made me the happiest out of them all. But first, before we do that, we're going to go through some honorable mentions. Of course, we're going to start with a name that's going to pop up quite a few times on this list. From Kid Convoy 82, we've got Javelin and Cascade. These two women look ferocious, and honestly, I can't remember which one's the Autobot, which one's the Decepticon. I'm kind of okay with them both being Decepticons, but at the same time, I need to remember which one's which. I've got the instructions somewhere. The majority of these honorable mentions are just because they're pretty late in the game, like last week of the year or so, but this one's actually going to be representing all of the Studio Series Gamer Edition figures. It is Optimus Prime. Now, I actually really do love the Bumblebee that came out, and as well the Cliff Jumper. I love this Optimus Prime. I can't wait to find the Megatron, hopefully the Starscream maybe. I'd love to see what else they do for the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron toys in future Studio Series Gamer Edition lines. Speaking of toys based on characters from video games, we've got the Reactivate 2-pack of Optimus Prime and Soundwave. Now, I knew right away I was going to love Optimus Prime because it had a really fun-looking transformation. It's an Optimus Prime. It comes with dope accessories. The truck mode looks really cool. But the figure I'm actually really surprised that I like as much as I do is Soundwave. I saw reviews for this 2-pack, and I thought Soundwave didn't look very fun at all. But after fiddling around with him for a little while, I actually really like it. So, surprise win. A Christmas gift I got from my best friend and roommate is actually Detritus. And I am very happy with how he is. The Hound figure from Siege was immaculate, and seeing it in Earth mode is even better. I may not have needed him in an Earth mode because I've got the Universe Classics one, but having this as Detritus, it's a major win in my opinion. And one last figure I actually do need to pop up is Legacy Armada Hotshot. I couldn't find him because all my figures are all still bunched up and together in a big bunch of totes. But Hotshot does mean a lot because we bought him before we went down to Disney. Disney was such a fun time having that for my honeymoon. And as you can see, we've got our lightsabers from our honeymoon up on the wall behind me. I'd love to have something else that we got from Mateo Potato hung up on the wall, but Kat said it would be too busy. So anyway, on to the top 10. Now we're going to start number 10 off with actually the biggest figure that I got last year. Size-wise. Black Zarek. This guy is enormous. As Kat would say, he is now one of our children, along with the Ark, Devastator, and Trypticon, because they are quite literally baby-sized. Of course, I had to throw him on this list because I'm a sucker for big fucking Transformers. And it was an amazing gift from Kid Convoy 2 for my wedding. Yeah, I'm extremely happy with this. Funnily enough, number 9 is actually the smallest figure on this list, and probably one of the smallest figures that I bought in 2023. It is Studio Series 86 Core Class Rumble. I am, quite frankly, in love with this figure. Didn't realize how much I was missing the pile drivers from that 4-pack of cassettes for Soundwave, but now that I have them, I never want to go back. Frenzy not having pile drivers honestly doesn't bother me, but seeing Rumble like this, I'm extremely happy. This little powerhouse brings a lot to the table. Moving back up with fluctuating size, we're going to take another trip over to the Armada universe, because here we've got Legacy, Evolution, Armada, Megatron. I actually love Armada very much. It's in my top 5 of favorite Transformers shows, being voiced by David Kaye with this crazy design that we've never seen before in a Megatron, and probably will never see again in a Megatron. It's crazy, and it's a nice deviation from the norm for Transformers, and I think that's something we need more in Transformers. Very, very fun toy. Wish that he had proper minicom ports. That would have been really cool. But I do still love him very much so. His tank mode is very good. His transformation is fun. And I'm really excited to see how Tidal Wave can combine with him and the upcoming Galvatron repaint of this, because they did show that off. Now, I couldn't leave a figure from this movie off the list because obviously I loved Rise of the Beasts. And me being the person I am, I knew that it could only be Optimus Prime who took this spot. But wait, you may ask, don't you have the Studio Series figure of Optimus Prime from this movie? And so now we shall talk about this figure. Larry and Max came out for my wedding. They decided that they wanted to go toy hunting for me, and they couldn't find it when we were initially there with them. They did find it later and shipped this to me, and I'm very grateful for them. So why is this figure not on the top 10 list, but this one is? Well, let me continue the story. Once I first transformed this figure after getting him out of the box, the mushroom peg that the waist was attached to slipped right out, and I was holding two halves of this figure. And immediately that soured this figure quite a bit. And coupled with like things not hooking together right in truck mode, and just that still that off feeling I was getting from it, I'm greatly appreciative that Larry and Max sent me this figure. I feel awful that this figure was sullied immediately out of the box during first transformation. Does that mean I'm going to get rid of this? No, it's an Optimus Prime figure, and it was a gift, but in good conscience, I can't put him on the list. As opposed to this figure, I did an entire mini review on, and I love this toy so much. I had fun every single time that I flipped this figure back and forth. I had fun painting him and giving him a bunch of extra paint apps and making him look the way that I wanted him to. Because yeah, there are some things that were missing, like the feet weren't blue, there weren't these silver details on the arms, and you know, just different bits and bobs here and there. But it didn't matter to me because it was still a fun toy that I could play with, and that's what should be the first priority with toys. Having fun. So it's unfortunate that the Studio Series supposed better one didn't make it on this list and didn't really cut it with my personal opinion, but I'm glad that a toy can still be fun and still make me love the character in my eyes. So moving on to number 6 on this list is actually another gift from Kid Convoy 82. And it's another one of those figures that I didn't think I would buy because I was kind of like with it, but now that I have it in hand, I'm glad that I own it, and it's going to be the permanent mainstay for this character on my display. And it's Studio Series 86 Ratchet. I don't know what it was with the Ironhide mold of this figure, but it was just kind of off-putting. I don't really know what it was. The van mode looked good, the robot mode looked pretty good. I guess just the Earthrise version of the mold still just had me in a chokehold. And I still do prefer the Earthrise version of Ironhide. But Studio Series 86 Ratchet, that's something different. Playing around with them and flipping him back and forth and just having him here, it's really changed my perspective. This is a really good toy, and I'm really excited to have him in the collection and add him into future things. All these gifts from friends. I'm an incredibly spoiled individual, aren't I? Alright, top 5. Where are we at now? Well, we're at a figure that me and Brian both wanted tremendously because they kept teasing him over and over again to the point where Brian even made a hashtag on Twitter. And now that we've got him, yeah, he made the list because I think he's that fun. It's Legacy Needlenose. Now again, I've done mini reviews for quite a few toys on this list, and this is no different. If you'd like to know my full thoughts on this guy, you can go watch that mini review, but in short, I love this toy. Alright, number 4, we're jumping back up in size, and you guys are probably going to be really surprised with this one, but it's a 2-in-1, and I will explain why it is here right now. It is Energon Optimus Supreme. You all are probably wondering why I would have this on here, and the main thing is it's my list, but the journey to get here actually was interesting. So, it all started out when I found this half of Omega Supreme at a Goodwill. And I thought, wow, if I can find this for $5 at a Goodwill, I wonder how easy it'll be to find the other half. Proved to be very difficult. But our roommate and best friend actually was hanging out with somebody who, in an old abandoned house of his, had a bunch of old Transformers toys, and he brought them down for me. You know, we had Energon Demolisher and Rodimus Prime. Those were really cool. But funnily enough, he had both halves of Omega Supreme. Granted, the half that he had, it was missing pieces, but but I still had the train from before that had everything that was missing, so it didn't matter. I added in some batteries for this arm, and yeah, that's awesome. But the two halves didn't have the Omega Supreme head, which, okay, there are ways I can get around that. I can either look for the head on eBay, that's the hardest piece to find online, or I could go with the Optimus Prime that could fit in with this. And so that's what I did. I found this version of Optimus Prime on eBay for $10 and just slapped it on in here, you know, the way that you're supposed to slap it in there. I have Optimus Supreme now. Do I care that he doesn't have his big helmet assembly? No, not really. What's interesting is that the lights and sounds for this Optimus also do still work. I can't find the button, but take my word for it, please. I guess the main reason that he's on here is just because it's my list and shut up. But he's big and beefy and an Optimus Prime slapped together with a Mega Supreme, and I honestly love that. And can we have some more of this, please? Okay, the last three. These are the three best of 2023. And this one we actually just got done talking about in another mini review. Yes, it is Legacy Origins Jazz. This figure has no right being as good as it is. And again, I will say, I'm not saying that I'm the reason that this figure exists. However, who else was asking for this figure aside from me in my Origins Bumblebee review? I'm sure other people were, but let me have this. I know people were asking for Wheeljack, but I genuinely don't know how many others were asking for Jazz. And it's really cool seeing this figure come out with how good he is, how fun he is with all the accessories he has. He's just great. And I've got one of these to send out to Kid Convoy 82, but he's got to get back from his own honeymoon. Number 2, we did a mini review for, and my thoughts on him still haven't changed. There's a reason that he's number 2 on this list. It's Legacy Tarn. This figure has no right in any way, shape, or form to be as good as it is. I'm so glad that Hasbro took the time, the effort, the care that they did to put into this figure. And I stand by what I said in that mini review. It rivals Mastermind Creations Kultur. This guy, with everything that he has on him, the articulation as well as opening hands, the fun transformation, the fact that it's a Tarn that we got in the main line, he deserves to be right here on this list, in my opinion. All right, number 1. This is it. This is the best of the year, in my opinion, of the figures that I got. And I teased him a little bit in that announcement video I did. And we're going to be doing a lot of talking about him in his own review. So just know I can't really say much about him right now. But just know that even though it was a late purchase, this definitely was going to be the number 1 of the year. Like I said, I'm going to go into a lot of depth with this figure in a proper review coming up. Not a mini review, a proper review. But I have a lot to say on this figure. The number 1 thing being, I am very lucky to have this figure in my collection. So, that was my top 10 Transformers list of 2023. I hope that you guys had a wonderful year in 2023, and I hope that the start of your 2024 is going as well as mine is. Because it's been going actually really good so far. And I'm happy with how it's starting, and I'm hopeful for where it's going. That has been another video from me, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. I can't wait to do all these projects with you. I can't wait to talk with you guys about the future for Resolve, because that's also still coming, and it's coming very soon now. Thank you all very much for watching. My name is 01TRANSFAN's. Talk to you all later.